Hi guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. Now, as promised, we are going to revisit our Theraphosa blondi. Now, this will be the second pairing for these guys, and you would have seen on the recent video that we done with the first pairing that all went rather well, and we're fingers crossed everything's really good. Our female appears to be in nice condition and raring to go, and our male can't wait to get in there. So it's all looking good. So without further ado, let's move on over and let's see how the second pairing went, shall we? I'll see you soon. Well, here we are for our second pairing of the Theraphosa blondi, and as you can see there, we are just dropping our male into the female's tub. Now she's underneath that piece of cork that you saw there. We're just going to come in and have a little bit of a look. When we put the male in, he basically just sat there for a good 10-15 minutes, not really doing anything, and now you see he's just starting to tap a little bit. Now occasionally it does take them a little while to work out what's going on, and I'm sure they're picking up the pheromones from off of the moss and things like that. And now he's actually settled down. If you think about it, the male has just been caught up, so he's been taken away from his surroundings and put into something strange. So he's going to be a little cautious. Now we've just gone through there. He was tapping away very, very gently for about 10 minutes or so, and then he started to pick up the tempo, and you can see his whole body starting to get a little bit of a quiver on. And you can see there, the tapping of the feet is so much more pronounced now. There's a bit more force in there. He's starting to communicate to the fact that he is actually there. Now our female has come out. You see how low they sit to the floor. She is really, really nice. Now this is around about 2 weeks after the first pairing. So they've both been fed a little bit more as well. She is in absolutely beautiful condition. Look at the size of her. The male looks big, and then you see the female. You see the abdomen on her now? She's got some really, really nice sort of pear-shaped abdomen. And this, I believe, now is showing that she's maybe actually carrying eggs. So this is a prime time to look at getting our male in there to fertilise them. As you can see there, he came straight in. He's in a really good position at the moment. He can sort of dominate the proceedings from here on. This isn't an ideal position for the big spiders to be pairing in, so he will have to come down. They tend to be better off on the floor. And you see our female there. She was really starting. She's getting excited. She's letting him know that her intentions are good. We've seen no aggression. They're being very gentle at the moment. So you've got that constant contact. There we go, you see our male tapping away there. Oh, there she goes, look at that. Now that is an absolute perfect invite for our male. This is the kind of thing that we hope to see from our females. It shows that they're in really good condition, and it shows that they're very receptive towards a pairing, which ultimately is the aim. The more receptive she is, the more chance our male will come out alive. Here he goes. You can see he's pushing her back a little bit now. She's maintaining a good position. And you can see there's some quite sudden jerks from our male. And these are all showing, they're all telling something. They're showing his willingness to mate. She is being absolutely receptive at the moment. Very, very calm, very relaxed. And you can see now our male has dropped down much, much lower now. Here he goes. He's going underneath. You can see the pedipalp starting to work away there. He's looking for that epigastric furrow. Here we go. He's searching. She's lowered herself slightly now. He's still searching away there. You can just see one emboli glistening away there. There we go. He's searching again now. Here we go. We have inception. You see the way he's pulled her body down? You can see where she's scuffing her feet. She's trying to hold on. He's pulling her in towards him. This is inception as we speak now. He's pulling on her now. Here we go. He's released her now. That was a really, really good insemination. Now you can see the emboli there that are actually sticking out on the pedipalp there. You notice the one on the other side, the far side, is still tucked away. So we know that it's his left hand one that he's used. There you go. We can see it clearly there now. Now we're getting a little bit of backwards and forwards. Notice the female's fangs are fully extended now. The males are only half extended. He's more interested in actually getting away at this point. And what's happening now is they've done the deed. And he is now looking to get away. And she's holding on as well. So in reality, they are both in fear of their lives at this point. There's a good chance it could go either way. As you can see, our spiders are very well matched. She is possibly stronger than him. She carries a little bit more weight. But this is a very, very difficult time. And it's at this point now that we have to decide, do we intervene or do we stand back and let them do what nature intends them to do? Now, we've bred many spiders here in the beastie room, and we've learned now that this kind of behaviour that we're seeing from these guys, although it can look rather nerve-wracking, it is still extremely relaxed. Neither of them are actually showing any real dominance over the other one. They are just keeping each other at arm's length at the moment. You can see how he's like pushing himself away from her a little bit. You notice how his legs are starting to extend. So there, she's very, very relaxed. He's slowly starting to move himself away. Just see the corner of my camera there. That's my phone trying to take a picture. Sorry about that. And as you can see there, he's just literally got her at arm's length. Notice her fangs have dropped back down now. She's not extending them as far as she was before. This is a sign that her demeanour is calming. She's settling down a little bit. Our male is settling down as well. You notice how he's almost sunk to the floor. Here we go. A little bit more. At that point there, it almost looks like he was going to try and repeat the process and perhaps try and pair again. Occasionally they do. But generally speaking, with a Theraphosa, once you've had that initial one, they're generally good to go. And they would rather back out and be on their way. As you can see there, you can see the female's fang there. Huge great things. Now these spiders here, that female is probably around about 8.5 inches or so. Maybe a little bit more. And the male is very, very similar in size. But you'll see the difference in their abdomen. See, his abdomen is half the size of hers. She's got a lovely big swollen abdomen. But this isn't swollen through food. So we can see that it's got really good shape. But it's not shiny where it's stretched. So it's a really, really good shape. Here we go. He's trying to move away now. If we was to intervene at this point, there is a possibility that either one could rush the other and we could lose one of them. So because their body posture and everything is telling us that they are still relatively relaxed, we've taken the opportunity to leave them to it. We are hovering in the background, just in case it all turns a little bit peaked on, and we need to step in. There we go. You can see, look, she's slowly releasing her hold on him, and he's slowly moving backwards. See how his whole body is poised to spring backwards. Her fangs have almost retracted back to where they should be. His are just normal. Here he goes. He's trying to stay higher than her. You can see this. Now, they carried on like this for some time, and we've edited this down a little bit because you get positions like this now where they hold on to each other, and they may sit like that for 5 minutes or so without a move. So it can be quite a time consuming, a little bit nerve wracking. But he's almost free of her now. Here we go, he's backing off nice and slow. You notice how he's got that one leg on her? There we go. Now we've come out. You notice his stance, he keeps his legs up high just in case she was to rush him. And now we've come in with a paintbrush. Now we've done that purely because we want to see the kind of reaction that we get from either one of them. And they both seem to be in almost like a trance-like state. So now it's time to secure our male. Now we've come in with a tub. Now I find the small Braplast tubs are absolutely ideal for these big spiders. Now that we got the tub over the male, it stops the male from running, also stops our female from jumping in and grabbing him. So it doesn't matter what goes on now, our spiders are to all intents and purposes separated, and we can take our time now and remove the male, or we can remove the female. Sometimes if she's got access to her burrow, unfortunately we've covered her burrow up there, so she's got nowhere to run to. But if the burrow was clear, then we would maybe try and entice her to go down into the burrow, out of the way. But she's a pretty calm spider. So what we're going to do now is we're literally going to cup our male up, nice and safe. And this is how we protect our males at the end of a pairing session. And as you can see there, our female was nice and calm. She's very relaxed. We will give her a feed now and leave her to it. This will be her last pairing. Let's hope for an egg sac. Well, what did you think to that? That was pretty cool. Now, as we said in the video, when we first dropped our male into the enclosure, the female's enclosure, he actually sat there for about 5-10 minutes or so, not doing anything at all. Now this is normally, this is to be expected from our males. And one of the things I often see with people commenting on pairing videos and things is they tend to rush things. And it's very, very important to let our males get established. Let him, get a feel for where he is. We have literally just caught him up out of a box, his own home, and then we've moved him and put him in a foreign place. Now this is guaranteed to upset him. And one of the tips I will say to you is when you move your males to your female's enclosure, try and catch him with the least amount of fuss possible. Because if you straight away upset your male and then put him in the female's enclosure, he is completely freaked out. He's on edge before we've even started. So it's really, really important that we get our male into our female's enclosure in a nice, steady manner so that, he's feeling confident. He's not too shook up. And he will settle down nice and quickly. Now we would have seen there in the video that he started off with just a little bit of gentle tapping. That went on for some time. Just literally gentle tapping, a little bit of a shake from the body. And you see the body, it literally sort of tenses like that. That's all it does. It's literally like that. Sometimes you can almost not notice it, but it's happening. It's there. So just keep your eye on that. And because all of these signals are telling us, in a way, at what point of the game we're at, whether he's going to move on or whether he's just taking his time. He was building up the tempo, and then eventually he started slapping the ground. And now you can see that he's actually confident in where he is, and he's confident with what he's about to do. And then he started, you know, he moved off. Our female, she responded to that heavy tapping, and you saw there she'd come out of her burrow and was just sitting there waiting for him, seeing where he was. As soon as he come over the top there, you see her turn, she come up to greet him. Now, when they first meet, you get that quick flurry. They're very, very slow, and as soon as they touch, you get that quick flurry. They're just working each other out real fast. That is the good point. That is the perfect place as to where we need to be. And then you see they settle down and they, you know, they get to know each other a little bit better. And then, if your female's in condition, you'll see the way that she was like, whoo, you know, she really like, you know, she's giving it all this, giving it large. And then he responds straight away. So they, both parties know that they're up for this. And that's the important thing. Once you get to that stage, generally speaking, things are pretty good. Doesn't always work out to plan, but most of the time, them signs are good signs and they're showing us where we are. Now, you would have seen there, the actual insemination, you see how he lowered his body right to the floor. With these big spiders, they tend to have to go real flat and low, and they go right in underneath, although he's trying to hold her up at the same time. And then you would have seen her body, she got pulled down like that. And that was the point we knew that he had got insemination. So his emboli had entered the epigastric furrow and he was now pulling on her. And that is what was pulling her down. You see her pushing with her legs. She was like this, trying to keep her grip so she didn't get dragged in any further. But he persisted and he managed to get her. Now, that to all intents and purposes is a really, really good insemination. Provided he is fully loaded, we should have a good insemination at that point. So, you know, there was lots and lots of things to look out for there, and we could clearly see them as it ran through. Now, once he'd actually managed to get the insemination, you saw that they parted company again, and you see straight away our male lifts himself up. So he's now back to a defensive posture, and he's holding himself. He's ready for any kind of assault that she may throw at him. And you see there the way she was, she raised herself as well. They maintain the contact with the feet. They're constantly pushing and shoving and, you know, they're gripping as well. So this is a time now, that went on for quite some time. And that's a point when you're pairing your spiders that you need to make a decision. Do you hold back or do you let them get on with it? Now, as we said in the video, we could see that they were still very relaxed. Although it looked a little bit chaotic in places, they were relaxed. We were there off camera, literally like that, just in case. But we didn't need to. It was better to allow them to play out and do their own thing. Another good little tip here is when they're in that position like that, under no circumstances do you want to tap the box, hit the desk, anything like that, because a vibration going through their enclosure like that can turn them into an attack mode, and they'll grab at each other because they'll mistake that reaction and that vibration as an aggressive one, and sometimes they will attack one another. Other times they might just tear off and break away, but generally speaking it will end up with them having a little tussle. So be careful, try not to tap your enclosure or do anything like that. Very, very important that we maintain that calmness throughout the whole process. And you see there, that took probably 10-15 minutes for him to finally break away from her. And you see how he was holding out with one arm, literally one leg, he's literally like that, push, 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 you know, until he can get far enough away. Then he comes up and he holds himself up to protect himself. And then we knew then that it was all over, it was finished with. And you'll see there that we come down with a paintbrush, because sometimes that's the point where she may just make a lunge for him. So we come in with a paintbrush just in case. You see us hovering there for a few seconds. We could see she was nice and calm. And then we come in with a box and we box our male. Now, that's a really, really important thing. And something that you don't very often see us do on camera. And that is actually boxing the male still in the enclosure. And we do that, as we said in the video, to protect our male. Once that box is over the top of him, she can't get access to him. And it doesn't matter what he does in that box, he can't harm himself either. So sometimes a male will freak out, charge off, do whatever. He may even run straight into her, and then it can all be over. So we put the box on top of him, always cover your male. Now you might think to yourself, well, why don't we cover the female? Always cover the male. The male is the priority in this situation. He is the most valuable, the most, the part that we need to save, because he's got other females to go on to. So we must protect him at all costs. Once we get the box over him, we can take our time. It doesn't matter what happens, he's safe. And as you saw there, we literally put the lid underneath, we move him over, and we can take him out. And we didn't have to disturb her in any way whatsoever. So she can, to all intents and purposes for her lover's been and gone, we're back to normal. The lid goes back on the box, she goes back to sleep. And that's as easy as that. If we'd actually caught her up, we would have flustered her, we'd have upset her, then we would have chased our male around, then we'd have to put her back in there. It's all stress. And it's stress that we don't need to give to our female. The male, we got to catch him regardless, so it doesn't matter. We just secure him first and get on with the job in hand. Right. Well, I hope that sort of covered a few other points with the pairing. There's so many things to learn with the pairing, and there's so many different little tricks and things that you can pick up along the way to make your pairing more successful. And hopefully you're starting to see some of them in our videos, and you're picking up these points for yourselves. And when you put your spiders together, you'll start to see some of the things that you've seen in our spiders. And hopefully, your pairings will be as successful as ours. That's the plan. So if you are getting into your breeding, crack on, get another one, and start documenting what you're doing. Start making some little videos, put them up on Facebook. If you have a bit of success, put them up there, give us a mention. It's all grand stuff. Let us know how you're getting on, because this is what we're sharing with you now, hopefully will improve your husbandry and your breeding successes and everything else. So we would love to hear from you on things like Facebook and things like that. We have our page on Facebook, so many of you guys already follow us on that. So if you have anything, even if it's just a minute video on your phone, take it, put it up on Facebook, share your experience. We'd love to hear about it. Right then, wow, until the next pairing, we have many, many more to come, and we have some good egg sacs on the way as well. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, I should say. Right. Okay then. Don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I will see you soon, guys.